it's Wednesday night. It's 7 p.m., man. So y'all know what time it is. It is Track Chat with the most known unknowns. Got a very, very special guest that does not need a long introduction. We know his resume. He's also a Vol, so we got to show love for that. Sorry, Lamont. But Justin Gatlin, man, thank you so much for joining us. But this is Track Chat with the most known unknowns. Jay Gat, I'm not sure if you've been watching the show or any of the previous episodes, but this is the track and field version of like First Take and Shannon and Skip. So we felt as though there wasn't a space for the barbershop talk in our sport or the entertainment side or really getting down to the nitty gritty and just sharing some stories, bringing a different perspective, getting creative. So again, we want to thank you for your time, man. We're gonna ask you a couple of questions. We're actually gonna switch up the roles. Normally, I'm the moderator, but this time I'm gonna go toe to toe with Lamont this week. And Stamps, he's gonna be taking the lead on navigating and moderating this week.
Sounds good. I appreciate you having on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. We appreciate your time as well. And since Lamont could have been involved, I'll kind of have to start it there. Mont is like eternally tied to me and you, Justin, believe it or not, because there's this thread that Vince recruited him, so he knows Vince very well. Vince has become a mentor of his, and the jabs that Mon and I throw back and forth to each other is, had he came to Tennessee, you'd been taking the baton from him, vice versa. So we love Lamont, man. He's a great guy. He's the guy that has a lot of quick one-liners, man. And I think if you didn't know him before today, you'll learn to like him. And he ain't much to look at, but he's a lot funner to listen to.
Oh boy, here we go.
He is our Stephen A. He is our Stephen A. Smith, man.
All right. So we're gonna start here, Jay, just to kind of get your feet wet here, brother. As the oldest, fastest man in the world, I know, as friends, you're like my little bro. I'm your big bro. You've talked about, in the next year or two, you're gonna go to this last Olympics, most likely. What do you see for yourself after the sport? Is there any involvement in track and field in any capacity, or do you go into the other things of your life since you've given the profession what you've given it?
I mean, just to be candid with you, brothers, I mean, I guess I've gotten to that age where you just tell it like it is. So it was at a point in time in my career where I felt like when I look back at the sport, I was like, I didn't want really much to do with it. And you find a lot of athletes who kind of fade into the abyss and don't want anything to really do with the comers and goes in track and field. I mean, you got Evelyn Ashford, names after names that people that we watch on YouTube and watch and haven't inspired us, and they really haven't found a place in the community track and field going forward. So for myself, at first I felt like that. I felt like I was like, I'm gonna go off and do my own thing. But then I realized I was like, my experience in track and field is a very unique experience that I think a lot of people can learn or either gain traction or have a foothold to be able to get to their successful spot in track and field. And I think that's one of the things that being an elite sprinter, a world-class sprinter, one who's won medals over times and periods, I feel like it's my duty and obligation to be able to find a foothold in our sport, to be able to lift others to come back from behind, to be able to find who they are in the track and field, because we only have a short window. So that can be from financially giving awareness to young athletes, understanding contracts, understanding negotiations, understanding the environment that you would have with having a professional coach, an agent, a sponsorship, meet promoters. A lot of these kids don't know how track and field works until they're 2 years or 2.5 years into the game. A lot of them get put on their ass their first year and get doubted going into their second year until they collect themselves.
Okay. I as your brother and friend and a fan, Monster Mondays. I'm a huge Eric Thomas follower, man. I probably listen to him working out more so than I do Tupac or Biggie. What was give me a little conceptual understanding on where Monster Mondays came from and what you hope that ends up moving into?
Oh, I'm a big fan of Eric too. I love listening to him, especially before going into races. Um, and once again, I thought about my viewpoint of where I've been throughout my career. And I got a lot of emails, a lot of DMs, a lot of text messages about people asking me not questions about running, but questions about focus, questions about persevering, questions about doubt, questions about insecurities, questions about, coaching environment or athletic environment, things that I saw that wasn't something that I think as an athlete would be normal questions as, how to catch the ball, how to shoot the ball, things like that. So for me, it seemed like I needed to reach out and connect with the younger athletes and try to encourage and inspire them, not just through running, but through words, and let them realize it's okay to feel down sometimes. It's okay to lose sometimes. And by doing that, I think that I showed and I humanized myself also, because I've had this persona for a long time where I'm this bad guy or monster. And it's been times where I cried myself to sleep many a times. But I understood what my beacon and my path was, and I had to stay on that. And I had luckily found my way and refound my footing to be in the athlete I am.
Let me. So with that, Justin, if you could just in those difficult times, because as we look at a possible Colin Kaepernick's return to the NFL and being gone, like what was your mental state, as you were away from the sport from a competitive standpoint? Like how did you make it through? What kept you going? What kept you motivated? Like what was a couple of things, or because every single athlete is gonna have that moment. We don't know if it's gonna be to the detriment that you or Cap may have had to experience. So what was that? What the things that we don't know or that we didn't hear about that just kept Justin Gatlin going?
Well, I think that when you look at someone like myself or Cap, or anybody at a high level, they started at a high level. You know what I mean? Like either they were youth, like phenoms, and they turned into professional athletes. My path was I was uh, I was ranked nationally. I was able to get a scholarship to University of Tennessee. I won multiple state championships in high school. So, and then 2 years into college, I went on to turn pro and having one of the largest contracts in track and field history at that point in time. And then everything, the bottom fell out. So then I had to start all over. So then I'm over there um, working with coaches who just were letting me in, not because of I could pay them, was because they deemed me as a good person, a good human being, and they didn't see me as a disruption, and they saw that I still had hunger and fire left in me, and I was going to be able to give that to the other athletes who were training. And I mean, the caliber athletes I was training with were people who had a 9 to 5, who still wanted to go out and train and practice and make their dreams come true. And I've seen people who lived out their car and all their track clothes were in the trunk. And they would get up in the morning, do all the hygiene, wash their face, clean at the gas station, put their clothes on, and they would go out to try to fulfill their dreams. So I think the stance that I have is that I've been up to the top, I've been to the bottom. I understand what it means not to have money to even pay your coach to be able to coach you, and I'm climbing my way back up. So that's where I stand. I think it's just a unique stance at that point.
Okay. Um, we, since we've started our show, we do a lot of tops fives, or what race did we want to see that we, didn't get to see. I just kind of want to go in and out so we can keep the fun loving kind of perspective going. So I want to throw something to you, Jay. Who were the three people that you who were the three people that you knew were going to bring their A game every single time they lined up next to you? And what was the race that you wanted to run that just didn't happen because somebody might have been hurt or whatever? Give me three people that you knew you had to be on your A game, was always going to bring it, and like the the 100-meter race that never happened, it should have.
Oh man, that's a good one. Man, I'll say Usain.
And a
Usain,
year,
Usain.
and a year,
That's what I would say.
and a year if you could, because that might, give a year. I don't. You could tell me better than that, because that gives us a framework of who was running in and around that time. You are the oldest, fastest man, so we got to be able to tip our hat to the Vince Carter of track and field.
I would honestly say that it would be Usain, Maurice Green, Christian Coleman. Like, it's just a certain energy that certain athletes give off. Obviously, we know Christian is a quiet dude. You know what I mean? Usain is a guy who shows a lot of energy, and Maurice shows that aggressiveness. They all show different kinds of energy, but they all have this similar thing about them where you know that it's not just about a race. It's not just about making money. It's a pride thing on the line as well. And I think a lot of the athletes don't show up to the line with that same type of energy. So if I had to say the top three would be those three guys. The race that should have happened that never happened is we were trying to have street races in America where it'd be kind of like drag race style, where you have someone like me and Asafa Powell racing down the Las Vegas Strip, where you have a whole bunch of advertisement, standing room only crowds, banners, and we would walk in with robes on and intro music, and we do all that. I mean, it was a dream, and I think it would really happen. It can happen. I think it will bring excitement back to the sport for sure.
I got this one. This is I'll come in there. Okay.
Hey, why does Lamar have to raise his hand like he in class? Go ahead, you sir.
Okay.
Right there.
Yes. All right. So Stamps, Cal, and myself had this exact conversation, and it was pertaining to the Michael Johnson versus Jonathan Bailey match race back in '97. The hype behind that thing was electric. It was built up to be this great race between the Olympic champion in the 200 and the 400 versus the Olympic champion in the 100 and the world record holder. Both of them were world record holders. Do you think if we can, let me rephrase that, what type of necessities will we need to have that happen again? And if so, if that happens, how do we protect the athletes from those clauses that's in those contracts? And you know what I'm talking about, those injury clauses. How do we protect the athletes from that so we can have more $1 million match races and I would love to see a 150, Andre DeGrasse versus a Michael Norman, especially Michael Norman ran 1970. We would love to see that. How can we get that? What do you think we need to do to get that going? What is needed?
I think all the tools are sitting in front of us in society. So one thing is that everyone likes instantaneous entertainment, right? We like fast stuff. We like to get in your face. That's perfect for track and field. But then on the other side, we as people who are the audience and watching, they need a build up. They need an educational step-by-step process to understand what is the ins and outs and not second guess it. So I'm thinking a short documentary that would lead up, kind of like Dan and what's that back in the day, Hassan? Dan O'Brien and Dave.
Dan and Dave.
Like a more new school Dan and Dave, where you have a build up to the race day, where you watch them prepare, you watch them eat, you watch their diet, you watch their regimen to the day of the race. I think you have a better platform that people who are not even in track and field would be excited to watch.
Okay. Track and field. Wait, hold on 1 second. Track and field lost on an amazing opportunity with Geneva and Allison Felix in that dead heat. That thing should have been prime time, in the middle of Times Square or somewhere, just because it was for that spot instead of the back and forth and the coin toss and whatever the backdrop was. And I just think our sport's got to capture, like you said, has to capture things like that to be able to thrust it into the mainstream. So there's that excitement factor, because a lot of people that have been on and around track and field that are the not so casual track fan just thinks that, oh man, I'm gonna just be at a track all day long.
Right.
So
What I'll
Go
add to
ahead,
that. Oh yeah, go ahead, Lamar.
so with that being said, um, if we were to do the 150 match race, you have 3 150 match races, or you can go for 2 women, 2 sets of women, 2 sets of men. What would be the match races that you would like to see between, I threw out some distances before. I said like a 180, a 150, or 120. What kind of matches would you like to see? What would be the great matchups that you would want to see?
Oh man, that's a good one. Am I taking myself out the equation?
No, you can be in the equation as well.
you can put yourself in it. You can put yourself in
Okay.
it.
You know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see that Norman Noah matchup again. That was a great 200 they ran against each other, and I think they had potential of showing some kind of rivalry. Um, I think that if you had to also do a shorter, I would say let's see, like if you did a 120, I would like to see myself in a 120. I think that'll be a good race and a good time.
Come on,
Women
call him out.
wise,
No, you gotta call him out, Justin. Who you calling out?
shit, man. Other,
Who would you want to line up next to?
you know who I always want to race more? I always want to race Johan Blake more, bro. Real talk. You know why? Because I respect his stride length, his speed that he brings to the table, his start, his transition. I love watching videos of him while he runs. Like when he's in good shape and good form, he's really entertaining to watch, man. I would like to watch. Have to I would have to say Johan Blake 120. I think that'd be a good matchup.
So with that, and we've had these discussions too, and we've just spoken from just track fans, like not necessarily knowing what goes into you guys' meet scheduling or anything like that. Why do you believe in our sport? Because it we'll take basketball on Christmas Day. We know we're gonna get to see some of the best matchup, but it's not gonna be the only time of the year that LeBron and Steph Curry are gonna match up against each other. Again, where are we dropping the ball? Or if you could shed a little insight, why don't we get to see as track fans those sort of like heavy hitter matchups more often?
Well, when you do see us race, it's usually at a meet. And if you're thinking from a perspective of a meet promoter, you're not only thinking about 200-meter runners that we want to see clash. You got to think about pole vaulters. You got to think about javelin throwers. You got to think about steeplechasers. You got to think about relays. You got to think about all these different events that's going to be at the same meet as these two titans that are going to clash in the 100. And usually, when you have two head-to-head competitions that everyone's excited for, those athletes know and the agents know that they're in high demand. So they're asking for a certain amount of money that's respectable of their time and their talent. And usually meet promoters normally sometimes can't get 3, 4, 5 athletes of really good caliber we're excited to watch all at one race. You know what I mean? It usually takes a Prefontaine or a Boston Classic if you think about it, because we are contractually obligated to run at those races. So that's why Prefontaine is always jam-packed. That's why Adidas meet is always jam-packed, because we already contractually obligated to run against each other. So to answer your question, I think if we had to get those kind of matchups, one, better advertisement. 2, it needs to be more streamlined. So if you had, let's just say the day before the real competition, that's when you had the 100 meters or you have the hurdles or something like that. So if you had a section where we solely focus on those sprint events that people are excited to watch, then I think that you would get more bang for the buck.
Like that.
Okay.
That's
Now,
awesome you say that, because we're always talking about revolutionizing the sport, and doing things like that would help revolutionize the sport. Go ahead, Mont.
now I'm gonna have to touch on something that's gonna probably touch your nerve a little bit. In case you don't know, I am Team Jamaica. Okay, my family, everyone. I was born in Jamaica, but I was only there for about 6 months, so it really don't count. I am a New Yorker. I am a New Yorker, just like yourself. You was from Brooklyn. I'm from the Bronx.
All right.
Let me ask you this: the rivalry, all those years, was there one time that you felt that if everything went right, y'all was gonna beat Jamaica in that 4x1? Can you recall the one time like, damn, that one got away?
Yeah, almost every one
Which,
of them. Lamont, almost. I mean, real talk though. I mean, you got to think about it. I mean, you think we all been on a relay at some point in time, correct? So we understand the working, moving chaos that comes with the relay, right?
right.
So, and we also have all been nervous at some point as well in a relay. So now you taking these young guys, and you know what? This is one reason why I think that it took us so long to even get out of the rut we was in, is because for so long we was always the great. We was always the favorites, Lamont. Team USA couldn't lose a relay, right? And then here comes this smaller country, Jamaica, and they implemented a whole different rule, a brotherhood, right? We're going to pick 4 guys and maybe an alternate to practice with each other all the time. That's our relay, right? That's roots. That's old school, right? That's what you did in college. That's what we did in high school. You had your 4 guys. You knew exactly who was going to run the relay, and you guys were in sync all the time, right? In America, it's all about giving everyone an opportunity and a chance because our talent pool is so deep. So now, when you cross the finish line 100 meters at the Olympic trials or nationals, you got the top 2 are on the relay, and then the third spot is negotiable, right? So if the third spot's negotiable, then you damn well know that 4th spot is wide open. So now you have all these people coming in, jockeying for position for these other 2 spots. You got agents and head coaches' ears. You got coaches and head coaches' ears. You got a lot of people who are politicking where it should be athletics. That's the difference. So now you have athletes who are not familiar with each other. I never ran with Gillespie before. We ran with each other in 2019, right? To make the World Championship round and then make it to the finals. But I never ran with him. We didn't get an opportunity to even practice with each other. Once we got out there, it was good luck, dog. Hope we get through. And so for years, that nervousness, that untimeliness of not being coordinated in sync with each other, it plagued us for so many years. And by plaguing us, Lamont, it opened up the door for teams like Jamaica to come through and be able to comfortably stand on top of that podium without being contended because, hell, we couldn't even get the stick all the way around. We would drop it on by the time we got to the 3rd leg. You know what I'm saying? So I think that for us, I looked at those opportunities and saw the misses that we had where someone dropped a stick or we ran out the zone or we handed the stick off too early because it was we never trained in that moving chaos ever together. So now we have the opportunity to change things around in our program and hopefully it'll be successful again.
You know, it's crazy to think that last year was your first ever championship 4x1. You know, you've been a professional since 2003. Damn,
Lamont,
it's been 2003.
you making me sound like I'm the weak link, dog.
No. Because at the end of the day, man, at the end of the day, you always done your job. Like, no one can take that away from you. You've always done your job. So, you know, when I go back and I look at 2012, and you know, I always go back and say that was probably the most perfect relay I ever seen y'all run. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, do you feel that was the one time they say, you know what, Jamaica just really beat us that day? Or you know, like that was, I mean, 37:04. That's nothing to sneeze at. That was the perfect order. It was perfect spacing. Y'all did everything. I believe y'all did everything right, unless there's other, you know, things that was going on behind the scenes.
But you know why, Lamont? You know why that is though? Because in 2012, if you look at all the men who ran, all 4, everyone had different attributes that they brought to the table, right?
Okay.
So you had someone like I run second leg, so I gain speed as I go along. Tyson Gay loves the turn. He's the best turn runner out there. Ryan Bailey's the big guy on the end who has the nerves of steel. So it doesn't matter. He's not going to leave early. He's going to be right there. You know what I mean? And then we had our starter. So you have all the guys that brought something to the table and they specified in that section, and there was no patchwork. And over years, it's been patchwork. Usually,
Right.
you have guys who are good starters and they're running third leg. You see what I'm saying? So it's like
Right.
you don't have the pieces in the right area. And if you look
Mhm.
back and do the research, it's very few years that you see the same quartet run Olympic year and then the next World Championship, which is the next year after that. It's always
That
different people in different orders.
that is true.
Inconsistency.
That is very true. Is there anything that you feel that need to be changed with our system?
Yeah, man. I mean, take a page out of our government. When you want the job done, you call the elites, right? You call the Navy
Right.
SEALs, you call the Green Berets, you call the Delta Force. So if you make a program that's going to cut in, and you got guys who their percentage of success is going to go up to a higher rate. That's all it is, because they train with each other all the time, and they work out their synergy. And then when they get on track, they can pass that stick with their eyes closed. That's what you need. You need a Navy SEAL squadron, and we're going to reap the benefits back, because once we cross the line and win that medal, our own governing body is going to reap the benefits financially from that, because we are on the podium again. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the
Mm-hmm.
investment that you put in to make that squadron is gonna pay you back tenfold on the other side with the success that they can bring.
It's true.
That is true. That is true.
And then at the end of the day, you want a spot, you fight for that spot. You say, hey coach, I'm new on the scene, you know what I'm saying, but I'm a great turn runner. And I want to jock for position throughout this season and try to get that spot. So then that's how you perform throughout the season. So when Olympic trials comes and a world champ or nationals comes, then that person who's jockeying for that position can be able
Mm.
to say, okay, he can put on his best. He showed consistently throughout the season that he's a great runner and that he can work well with others.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now I got one other question. I'm gonna let the other gentleman chime in. I've spoken to Tiana. Me and BK, we talk quite frequently. I also heard Carmelita, talk. Can you take us through that the holding area before that relay? Like, what is the energy going like what is going on? I remember I was talking to Wilder Spearman, and he was telling me about '07, how they was just in the warm-up area, and they was like, this world about to get they whole ass tore off. What was the energy like? Jamaica is here, they're the ones. Great Britain, as long as they not in their feelings and try to disqualify everybody, you know, they're there. What was the energy like? Was there any trash talking? Was there any, what was going on in that area? Because those are little things that a lot of the fans would like to know. And Tiana and BK was very candid about what was going on behind the scenes. So for the men's relay, what was going on behind the scenes?
All right, so I can't speak for the women's side, but the men's side is psychological warfare. There's never
Mm,
trash talking like me to a guy on Team Jamaica. What
right.
happens is we come at everyone knows what a warm area feels like when you're going into a championship or a nationals. It's very quiet. You feel like sometimes you walk in that mile to the electric chair, like you feel that nervousness, you feel that energy, but also you feel ready and pumped sometimes. So for us, we're always quiet because I also think that we are uncertain with our connection as us four. You know what I mean? Because we're four guys during a regular season that compete against each other. I run against Tyson Gay, Mike Rogers, Coleman, everyone else. I run against those guys almost every other race. You see what I'm saying?
Mm,
So now you telling me at the last moment I got to switch my mind and to think that these are teammates of mine now. You know what I mean? So we become frenemies in that call room area, but our energy is directed towards us getting around this track. But we have to trust each other. Now, when Jamaica comes into the warm area, and we're talking about Jamaica, who is already been on the podium, let's say 2 or 3 times, right?
mm,
Broke the world record. Let's say from 2012 on, okay? Team Jamaica. They come up to the call room in the warm area, and they're laughing, they're joking, they talk about what they're gonna do later on tonight, all these kind of things because they're comfortable. But also by talking that way, you're getting in your competitors' heads, telling you, "Oh, we got this. It's easy. We good. I don't know. Y'all sort out what's gonna be bronze and silver, but we already know what's gold." And that's the psychological warfare that's being played within those call room areas. I remember a story where we was at the Bahamas World Relays. It's not a prestigious event as a World Championship and Olympics, but it was that time where I was just like, enough is enough, dog. I'm tired of losing, and I know that we have the capability of winning. And as we walked down this little corridor, and Jamaica was in front of us, and we were walking single file line, I turned to my teammates and I told them, I said, dog, I'm tired of losing. I said, I'm tired of having these guys take food out of my mouth, take food out of our son's mouth. And at the point in time, all of us had sons. I said, that's what they're doing to us. They taking what we worked hard for. So what we going to do about it? And the look on their face, Lamont, it registered. It clicked over like, F it. We ain't got nothing to lose. Let's do this. And at that World Relays, we won. We ran a pretty good fast time, and it was early in April. But the point I'm trying to make is that energy that we brought, we changed it right before we went on the track. We believed in each other, and that's what's missing sometimes when we go on these relays. So I saw those times, Lamont, when we dropped the stick, we was out the zone, we was a little bit before the zone. All those things were like, damn, we had it. And that's the worst feeling you have. When you feel like you're just lucky to be in the finals, you be laughing. You be like, yeah, man, we're just lucky to be here. But now when you know that you should be on top of that podium and you're not, that's when it gets hard. That's when that's a hard pill to swallow.
Okay. I definitely understand that, man. Like you telling it from the men's psychological warfare. Tiana and Bianca was like, we finna tear them up, and Jamaica don't have no idea what's about to happen to them. I mean, they was back there, and then Carmelita was talking about what was going on in the van on the way back after they set the world record. They was like how they was going up, and everybody had to kind of bring her down because she was just on 10. I mean, that's just something, man. That just hearing those stories is the things that make everyone who watches you, has watched you over the years. It feels like it brings them closer together because they love hearing those behind the scenes stories. They love hearing the fact that, okay, you were trying to do block starts, but Johan got the last set of blocks, so you had to do 3-point starts, and you went out there and you ran 9.74. I mean, those are little things. Those are little things that people want to hear, and we glad that you shared that with us.
We got stories for days, brother. Those kind of stories, we got stories for days, man.
Right.
Definitely.
So I got a question. It's a little bit away from the relay now. So was there ever a passing of the torch moment, from Mo Green to you and possibly you to Christian Coleman? And if so, like, what was that like? Did that happen?
I never consider a passing of the torch. When you have one great athlete and then another great athlete emerges, that new great athlete has to take it. And take it with submission, like not one time win, but like multiple, or either you do it on a level that's unarguable. You know what I mean? You can't argue the fact that they just outright won that one. But I think for Mo Green, it never had no ill will because I used to have pictures of Mo Green on my wall when we was in college. You know what I mean? He was somebody I looked up to, somebody I wanted to be able to follow those footsteps and become great. You know what I mean? So I know at some point, my idol is going to turn to my rival. And I had conversation with Christian the same way. Christian and them used to watch YouTube videos of me when they was 7, 8 years old. You know what I mean? That's how long I've been around. So now we shoulder to shoulder with each other in Doha when the gun goes off, or shoulder to shoulder with each other in Leaning for the Line in 2017. So I think it's not really a passing. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a beat into submission.
I mean, I like that, but that's what I've always appreciated about our sport. When any given day, anybody could win, anybody can lose. But I do appreciate that. But like I just wanted to know because again, we still, like you said earlier, we have Titans. So I was just curious, if there were some behind the scene conversation, or even once. I don't want to put you into retirement early. You may have another year in you. You know, so I'm gonna put that blessing on you. But once I would say, like, you know, once Mo Green may have exited out, you know, like, did that conversation happen to say, hey, it's your time, you know, carry the load or carry the sport or whatever?
Nah. I've never got that speech. I've never heard anybody give that speech. Especially in the men's sprints. It's a very ego driven male bravado kind of sport. You know what I mean? Like event, should I say? Where
Machismo.
you're always gonna think you the best, regardless of if you just crossed the finish line and you was dead last. You like, man, it just wasn't my day, man. You know.
Right.
But I've had conversations with Christian, you know, obviously because he's a fellow Vol. So before he had his professional debut, I would talk to him before races when he was in college. You know what I mean? And I think for me, it was more about not really looking for to pass the torch, but just to give insight to uh, a young black athlete who needed success, and once they got into a sport that they wasn't familiar with on a different level, they still have a footing. They'll be ahead of the game when it comes to just the understanding of how the ins and outs of certain things. So we've got conversation, you know what I mean? And when you see us on TV and we dapping each other up or giving each other hugs, it's usually those kind of conversations that we whisper into each other's ears, like, man, hey, like in 2017, Usain and me, Usain never really had extensive conversation, Lamont. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when we crossed that finish line, it was never about being boastful. It was never about finally saying, like, it's my just due. I won. I beat you. I came over to him. Obviously, I gave the old iconic, you know, bow to him because of how great he is and how great he's done for the sport. But when I came up and he hugged me, he whispered right, he was like, hey, man, I ain't see you out there in lane 8. And I said, I ain't see you out there in lane 3. And we laughed. But then he said, if anybody was going to beat you on this stage, I wanted to be you because you work hard for it. And I respect that. And he gave me the dap, gave me the hug, and we went on about our business.
That's what's up.
And once again, those are the stories that everybody wants. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, there's going to be a painted rivalry between you and him. You know, let's be honest. Let's be honest. You have been the holder of the American crown, regardless. You no matter what happened, everyone had to go through you, regardless of what, you know, how great Christian Coleman is. I think there's going to be a population that's going to say Gatlin going to get him. They don't know when, but he going to get him. And then when you was at Prefontaine out there in Stanford, and you dropped the 988,
Yeah.
we was like, okay. And on that track, and we all ran at that track. We know that track ain't kind to sprinters. So for you to go out there and do that, that let's say, you know what, Justin's gonna probably end up getting him.
Are you saying that, Lamont?
It's a distance track.
Lamont,
It's super
are you
soft.
saying
It's
that
super
track
soft.
is slow?
It's super soft.
I'm waiting.
But
waiting.
guess what? But guess what? Haha! The talent outshined the track. The talent outshined the track.
I'm on Lamont's side with this one.
That conversation. There you go. Then that's all I needed. Now, but so I'm just, you know, but Gatlin, because hold on real quick, Stance. Hold on real quick, Stance. So seeing that you're on the scene and you're able to see all the up and coming guys, is there somebody we need to keep our eye out for that is kind of flying under the radar? Then you know he's gonna any minute he's gonna pop.
Man, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. I'll definitely watch out for. You haven't heard from him in a while, but dude named Kyrie King. I think
Kyrie King, yeah.
I think he has some good potential. I think he has some things he can correct with his form that would make him a better runner. There's this cat out there. You probably haven't heard about him. He got hurt in 2019. Kenny Bederick. If you look him up, he's done some things. He's ran 19.8. He's ran like 19.4. It was heavily wind dated, but still, you know what I mean? I would love to run
Yeah.
19.4 anything, you know?
Mm.
And there was a young cat who's out in Texas, I think. He was tearing it up for a little while indoors before Coleman made his 2019 debut. I think his name start Kemp. Kemp.
Gimmick.
Yeah, he I like his start. I like how he starts out the blocks. I'm looking for a stronger transition from him coming in the next couple of years. But I think those guys and obviously the usual suspects that's out there. You guys a lot of the thing is this is what you got to watch out for because you can always peg somebody as like oh they okay, and then they go train with somebody else and they get what they're looking for, what they're missing, and now they're a better runner. Like Jimmy Vicat from France. Now he trains with Reina in Jacksonville. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Reina's
I
known
didn't know that.
yeah, see what I'm
Wow.
saying? So like that's the beautiful thing about our sport is that guys can always reinvent themselves and find new ways to be better. You know, have a better start, have a better finish. Hell, I mean that's the backbone of my career. Like I had to learn how to evolve once I came back into a sport in 2010, 2011. And all these guys out here running 9.7s like it was just like it was free. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Right.
I got to get on this bandwagon. I got to be able to start training more, training harder, make my start better. And that's why I became one of the best starters in the world because I knew how to get into the race and not try to play catch up.
Okay. Okay. See, everybody's on mute right now. I don't know why they so quiet. But Shikari, Shikari or Shikari. I want to make sure.
Well,
Get,
Lamar, we can't get away in.
be quiet, Stamps. So
Lamar, we
Shikari
can't get a
Richardson.
word in.
Because y'all take it too long. Shikari Richardson. How's
Yeah.
her transition happening?
She is athletically an incredible athlete.
Mm.
One of the best athletes, guy or girl I've ever seen. Um, we have to definitely see her race because the times that she can be able to clock at practice, from what I'm hearing, is something along the lines of the new ushering of the Shelly Ann Frazier's, the Evelyn Ashford. She has the opportunity to be great, run some of the fastest times ever recorded, be shoulder to shoulder with someone like Carmelita Jetta at some point if she stays on that path. She she's that dog. She Lamont, Hassan, Kyle, like she's that dog. She has that fire in her. It's that kind of fire that you got to control though. Not the kind of fire you got to light. Like a lot of athletes we know that you got to kind of ignite their fire, make them mad, use positive reinforcement kind of stuff. She's that kind of fire that if you don't control her, that fire can get out of control.
Mm.
She's already lit. So she's a special type of athlete, man. Definitely.
So
Gotcha.
with that, man, because I want to know more stories. And an uncontrollable fire can be Hassan Stamps. So take us back. Look, his internet just dropped. You see, so take us back. Take us back to the Tennessee days, man. He if you anybody that'll see this and has met Hassan, he carries around whatever it was either a 55 or a 60-meter hurdle race. And he beat you. So what was it like training, traveling, competing with a Hassan Stamps, man?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna tell you when I first got to the when I first got there, I was a hurdler. So I was jumping high school height. So I think I was jumping what 36s, right? Or 30, what 39s, and then they
39.
jump up to 42s. Yeah, 39s and they jump up to 42s. So I never did 42s before. So I'm at practice, freshman, new to the game, and I'm over there jumping. I guess I'm jumping the hurdles all afflicted looking, right? But I'm getting over them. And then no one talks to me. No one says anything to me except for the coaches. And then maybe a couple weeks after that, we get ready for our first indoor race, which I ran at Clemson, and I ran an A standard, 661 for my first 60-meter that I ever ran in my whole life. And then I remember coming back to the dorms from Clemson, and I told Hassan that I ran 661, and he was like, "What? You shitting me?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you know what you just did?" I was like, "No, I don't know." He said, "Dog, I ain't gonna lie. When you first came here, the way you jumping them hurdles, I thought you was retarded." I thought you was a little slow, dog. he said, I don't know why Vince got someone who was a little slow to the draw on the team. You know what I mean? But then I guess as I gained traction, you know, working with Hassan, he was always that kind of big bro, that tough love kind of guy, that guy that was never gonna let me be the next coming without getting my licks in. And he would definitely verbally get my licks in. There'd be times where they would tie me to the bedpost or something like that, or put me on the elevator and push all the buttons. So they made sure they kept me in check as being a freshman, no matter how talented I was.
So Stamps, before your teddy bear internet drop, man, I was just asking him, you know, give us a story of just his experience, you know, with you just during y'all time at Tennessee. Now, the next question is we gotta talk about this NCAA championship 4x1. So, Justin, can you validate? All right, was there a disqualification that should have happened in that?
100%. 100%. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Tennessee ball and I was on that relay team. I'm saying it because I watched the video and they were out the zone. And those points should have went to us, and all we needed was 7 points. If we would have won that event, we would have had our points. We would have been 2-time outdoor NCAA champions in a row. So I saw it, man. I can't, you know what I mean? I can't sit there and say, man, we should have won. We was getting our ass kicked all season long by a triple jumper, a 400-meter hurdler, a 400 runner, and a 200-meter sprinter. But we got our stuff together for NCAAs for the finals, and we was hauling ass. And after we reviewed the tape, they were out the zone. They was at home, so they got that little push, you know.
Well, after watching the tape, Stamps got rolled up. So I mean, you know, I'm gonna, well, you know, we ain't gonna open up that wound.
Listen, man, I'm gonna ride with Stamps forever. You know I'm gonna ride with Stamps forever because Stamps did something that was unconventional for the first time ever in track and field history. He ran and knew that he was not in the lead, and he dove to hand me the stick. Literally put his body on the line, fell on his chest, scraped up his hands. He had the safety pin. It pierced his nipple. It was hanging down. Stamps was all hanging sideways on his bib. But guess what? He got that stick off, though. My boy got that stick off, though. So forever, you gonna be my number 3 forever.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Hey, I will say this: that same team that beat us, we ran one of the fastest time in pin relays history. We won the 4x1 before that loss. My mic, y'all can't hear me?
I can.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
It says I'm on.
No, you're good.
Oh, I was saying, we ran one of the fastest times. We ran one of the fastest times at pin relays in the 4x1 that year and beat those guys. So that's why it was kind of a shock. And you like you said when you talked about the relay, we were a team, we were a unit, and our I don't know many teams that run their first 4x1 of the year by ourselves at Arizona State and run 39 flat.
So Gatlin, he was saying that y'all ran one of y'all fastest races at Arizona State, opening up, and he talked about the pin relay 4x1. So that's what you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this just from VFL to VFL though, because we just missed getting the school record. Y'all still on that 38.66. We were 38.68. I would have loved to line up against y'all. We would have put y'all to pieces. Man.
You think so, dog? Come on.
I know it.
Yeah, you know what? Lamont laughing. Lamont know a joke when he hears.
Lamont can laugh all day.
Lamont know a joke when he hears a joke. I'm taking Lamont to a comedy show because this man knows when he sees funny. That's funny.
That's great. But me, I'm gonna tell you right now, Hassan and I on third leg, he can dive all day. We're already gone.
Listen. By the time I'm handing the stick up with Hassan, we already won the race. It's over, man. I'm saying, man. It's over. All I'm saying is we gave you guys a star to shoot for.
Pitching ain't doing
We
nothing with
put
y'all.
that record up there, so y'all worked hard. Y'all bust your ass to get that
Mhm.
record.
But y'all had an NCAA 60-meter champion, an NCAA 200-meter champion. We didn't have any of that at all.
See, you just helped prove my point in the beginning of this conversation.
Evander wasn't no
synergy. See that
slouch.
synergy right there? That's what that is.
Now, look, Evander was a different animal. He's a different animal on second leg, man. And just our 2 to 3 combo was so smooth, like so smooth.
Listen, Cal,
one of the best.
Cal.
Lamont, I don't want to hear it.
Look how
Cal. Cal, I listen.
Lamont,
I understand. Listen. I understand. Listen, I understand. Yeah, I did. I understand.
Okay,
I understand. I understand the love and this and the third. But you cannot compare a bullet to a heat-seeking missile on the second leg. Not to mention, look, I don't mean to do this to Sean.
And those that can't, Lamont.
Sean's from New York. Listen, Sean's from New York, right? Sean's from New York.
Those that
But he let a triple jumper. He let a triple jumper do him dirty, bro.
Listen,
I mean,
all I'm saying is we that kind of team that we don't know what our limitations was. If you would have lined up with us, we would have ran even faster than the time that we posted. That's still up there right now.
And that we feel the same exact way. So what I will give you credit to though, y'all set the tone for us, which is why we wanted to continue to carry that tradition. But during our time and the teams that we had to beat, you're talking about we took down a Richard Thompson, Trendon Holiday LSU team. You know what I'm saying? So the equivalent of that during you all's tenure, I would have loved to line up against y'all with the quartet that we had with a Matthew Pritchett, Evander Wells, myself, and Ruben Williams. Now, I'm going to be honest about this. If we were going to lose that race, it's because I was going to be so far up Ruben's back, how I was at Nationals, I was going to have to push him. And that would have slowed us down.
But we come from different environments, man. We had to run against teams like TCU back then, that everybody on that team was a Olympian or a future Olympian. You know what I mean? Like, all of them were high caliber.
And
you had Lindell Frater, you had Michael Frater, you had Doc Patton, you had Kim Collins. So
you had Ricardo Williams.
Exactly. So I mean, we had a different environment than
you guys, and Lamont.
You know what I mean? So
I don't know if you remember.
I would love to see that race too, but I know how it's going to end. I'm sorry, man.
and I'm gonna argue it down to the day. So with all of that talent that y'all had, you only ran 38.66. With the lack thereof, we ran 38.68.
But okay, but you also gotta understand. Now I'm the historian here. You gotta understand that the man ran the 100, set the collegiate record in the 200, almost won the 110 hurdles, split 44 flat on the 4x4. Oh, and by the way, ran the 4x1. Okay, Gary Kakaya was setting records in the 400. Leonard Scott was out there trying to drop sub 10s every time he got on the track. They had other responsibilities. Some of y'all was okay, y'all made it, but they had other responsibilities. Well, Stamps had the 400 hurdles, you know what I'm saying?
So let me bring this point up. If you were paying attention to the conversation that Justin said earlier, all right, there was this thing of chemistry and brotherhood that Jamaica had that the USA team lacked. So I know you guys were close. We super close. You know what I'm saying? So that 4x1 team, we were super close. So what we all can agree upon is that chemistry and that flow. And again, you take a Matthew Pritchett that at that time he was only about 10.45 in the 100. You take an Evander Wells, he was 10.08. You take me myself, I was only about I think a 10.4 at that time. And you take another Ruben Williams who was like a 10.10 or another 10.08. All right. So in comparison in the flat races, we were pretty much equal almost all around the board. But then,
so you just trying to prove a point right now, because I really want to know what the man's plans are for the upcoming year with everything pushed back. You You try to re-race. You try
I
to
just
re-race history.
all I wanted to say was this: is no different as we talk different eras, like this person in this era, this team in this era. Look, I would have loved to run against that team, and I gotta get Stamps back because he beat me in this continuous 200 relay, knowing I'm not a 400 hurler, 800 runner. But I'm gonna let it live. But let's go
Mhm.
ahead, 'cause I know we got like I say we got about 5 or 6 minutes left. So go ahead, Lamont.
And so, in conclusion, with everything that got pushed back with the Olympics getting pushed back, do you feel that that's helped you? And if so, what are your, I mean, we know the obvious goals, but what is some of the goals that everyone may not know? Because this is supposed to be your swan song. This is it for you, if I'm not mistaken, correct? You
This
went on
this
record
is
and said that.
this will be my last Olympics for sure.
Okay, so what, like, do you think the pushing back of the Olympics is going to help you? And do you see yourself actually running on one more year, because the World Championships is on U.S. soil? You never had a chance to run on U.S. soil at a major meet other than the NCAAs and USAs.
See, at first everyone was like, "Hey, man, that'd be a great place to end your career at the Olympics. Um, get on the podium, you be the oldest Olympian, blah blah blah, all the glitz and glam." And then I had a couple people come out the woodworks, man. It was like, "I'm just saying, World Championships for the first time in the USA. That'd be a great place to end it." And then at first I was joking. I was like, "Man, I'll try it. I'll do it." But then I really thought about it, and I was like, it'd be those days at practice where you feel great, and
Mm-hmm.
then you be like, I could do this for another couple of years if I stay in good health, in good shape. Now, whatever, egotistically, yes, at a high rate, that's where I want to be at. I'm trying to get fifth, sixth, you know what I mean, clapped in, that kind of like stuff. Like I want to be able to run 2021, 2022, and be a threat. You know what I mean? A real bona fide threat. Um, so I don't think that it hurt me necessarily that we didn't have a season. Obviously, financially, it hurt everybody. You know what I mean, to some extent. But it did give me opportunity to rest, figure out what I'm gonna do coming in the next season, and kind of build up that hunger tank. You know what I mean, to get ready. Now take my time, get ready exactly what I need to do, and this gives me that kind of opportunity like I had in right before 2015, where I just trained like a bat out of hell, dog, and then came out was run all those 9.7s because I had a stronger base when it came to endurance and strength, and I just laid speed on top of that, and I was a monster. So I
Yeah,
would try to love to recreate that.
and I just looked at it like the legend started in Eugene. You see what I'm saying? Like when you first burst on the scene, remember Kim and Doc was the favorites to go 1-2 in that 100 meters,
Oh yeah,
and you came out and you won it. So the legend of Justin Gatlin started in Eugene. What fitting? What whether you win or whatever the case may be, can you imagine how your story would end? It started in Eugene, and then let's be honest, you really can't count you out. Stamp said it a while ago that you are. If there's a sure shot to guarantee that someone's going to finish in that top two, it's going to be you. He said it. He's been religious with that. So I just kind of looked at it like it started in '01 in Eugene, it ends in 2022 in Eugene, and you can walk. I remember you carrying your son at the Olympic trials. So imagine a picture of you carrying him. Then all of a sudden now he's obviously a grown young man now.
yeah.
Just looking at the storyline and how it just ends, and that's one hell of a conclusion to a career, man.
Hold
I
on,
mean,
Lamont.
as a fan, I would love to see that.
Lamont, you said this man only had 2 bullets left in the chamber.
I did. I did say that. But now that he's saying that he's gonna run, he's thinking about doing it. Okay, then go after it. Go after it.
Hey man, even if it's 2 bullets left in the chamber, I always keep an extra clip on me, man. I ain't gonna be out there.
Exactly.
If I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
show, hey, y'all know me. If I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna show up. You know what I mean? When it's time to show up, it's time to show up. You know what I mean? Like when we ran the relay, the 4x1 relay in Doha, man. the weather was so extreme that it was 123 outside on the hottest days, and the lobby in the hotel is 50 degrees. So doing that back and forward all day, you can do the math. I got walking pneumonia right before the finals of the relay, and I ran that way. You know what I'm saying? Like I ran with a fever. I ran with a fever 101. You know what I mean? But
Wow.
I'm gonna show up. That's what I bring to the table. I may not have the best record, the fastest record, the most winnings record in track and field, but I damn sure guarantee if I had to step on the line, I stepped on the line willingly, and I'm coming for that ass.
And we would love to see it, and man. There's no better way to go out, to be honest, man. And for those that don't know the Tennessee way, that's the Tennessee way. Like we're a very, very blue collar, cutthroat. Like we gonna get it. We gonna grind and grind and grind. So again, man, we didn't want to take up too much more of your time, but we started ending our segments about 2 or 3 weeks ago like this. So we like to give people their roses while they can still smell them. So, if there's anybody in the track and field world, whether it be a coach, whether it be an athlete, whether it be a meet promoter, just anybody that, may not get the sort of praise that you feel like they deserve, like, man, now is your time, to give them their flowers while they can smell them.
Man, my flowers that I'm giving are going to all the officials out there, all the people at the check-in desk, all the people in the call room that takes your bags, all the people that really devote their time as well. You know what I mean? And some of them don't get paid for that. They love being around track and field that much that they are willing to fly from another country just to carry athletes' bags at the Olympics for free. So my flowers go to people like that, man, who don't really get noticed, who are the ones that slow down that last call, third call. They slow it down because they know that you have to run across the field to get into the call room before you get disqualified. All them people who sit out that hot sun with the flags, you know what I mean? White flag, red flag, the zones. People who ran track at some point clearly in their career and they just can never get enough of it and they stick around it because it's tradition for them. So my flowers go to them. And those coaches who work so hard just to make not their dream, but those athletes' dreams come true because those athletes don't know better yet.
We appreciate that. Munt, you wanna toss those roses for the rest of us for Coach Williams, man?
Yeah. You know, I want to give my roses to Coach George Williams. News is out that he was relieved of his duties from St. Aug in Raleigh, North Carolina. He has been an intricate part in American track and field. He is the gold standard in Division II track and field. He's had well over 40 Olympians. He's won 39 national team titles. In 2004, we was at the Modesto Invite, and I remember I won the Invitational 200, but he was like, "Son, you running the race wrong." And he walked me around the track where everybody was going. He said, "Where's your next race?" I said, "It's gonna be in Atlanta. It's gonna be at Georgia Tech." And so he walked me around the track and said, "Son, this is how you're supposed to run the race." This and the third. I went out there, and I actually hit an Olympic trials qualifier in the 200. He gave me instructions, even as a coach, man. He gave me instructions. He gave me the do's and don'ts. He's always put his arms around all the young coaches, whether he known you or whether he just met you. He always treated you with respect and love. Gatlin was on the team when he was the head coach. So he understands, the love and the admiration that he had that everyone has for him. He is the Godfather. He's one of the three Godfathers in track and field that I call. I think Mike Holloway is one of them, Curtis Fry is the other, and I believe George Williams is the third. And I believe right now, with the transition that St. Aug is about to go through, he's going to be sorely missed. We're going to miss him, but we know he's still going to be in track and field. I give him my flowers, and I think I speak for everyone in the track and field community. Coach Williams, we love you. You get your roses while you can still smell them from me.
Man, Stamps, man, bring us home, man.
First off, I want to thank everybody, for making their time as we do with our show. Justin, I really appreciate you being on. It's been amazing to watch your career from being my teammate, running that first 6.62 661 at South Carolina, all the way to watching you win your first Olympic gold medal in 2004. I'm just really proud of you, man. The amount of things you had to go through is just is an honor to be able to call you my friend, little bro, and I just want to thank you for being the exact person uh, that you have always humbly been to your friends, but finding that person in your professional life, because we both can look back to those moments early in your professional career where there was a little bit of a disconnection. You were finding yourself, you were growing, you were maturing, and then, as always, your friends and family are gonna love you regardless. So just to see your maturation and see that you're a beacon in this sport, man, if it wasn't for Coach Williams, I would honestly give my flowers to you, uh, because you don't understand how much more confident you made me when I got on the track. I'll share with you a little story. When we did our best to try to win the 4x4, y'all knew my hamstring was messed up. But the fact that y'all advocated for me and still wanted to go out there and try to win it, and right before that, the 4x4 relay started, you pulled me my shirt. You was like, "You ready to do this shit?" And that always stayed inside my heart, man, because running around that track with half a dang leg, I ran that race for my Vol family and for you. So thank you, saying for making yourself available for our show, man. We really appreciate it. We get you a T-shirt at some point.
Yeah, man. So, and just I piggyback off of both of these gentlemen, man. I appreciate you all. I appreciate Coach Williams, not only my frat brother, but he makes it a point, to check in on me, at meets and everything. For you, Justin Gatlin, man, I still remember, not to age anything, but I still remember just looking at the freshman records and the school records in the locker room that used to be in Stokely. Like me and Evander, like we were chasing them all. But got real close, but just couldn't take them down. But so you definitely set a bar while we were in school, man. You set a tone as a man, as an athlete. You've held your head high through it all. I wish you nothing but the best, man. But this has been the track chat with the most known unknowns. I love you guys, man. Y'all stay safe. I'll see y'all.
Yo, what's good, world? What up, what up, what up? You have logged into the track chat with Coach Mon Johnson, Smith, Coach Hassan Stamp, East Tennessee State, Coach Kyle Stevenson, Georgia State, and Coach David Pickett, North Greenville. And on the intro, you got me, Coach Shake, ECU. Say what you want, speak from the gut. But if you're speaking to us, study, buddy, dog, my people are nuts. You wanna really act deep if you want. You want me keeping the buck. It's not the place for that. Your face will get cut. This ain't the running in place. It's a full throttle. Who wanna race? Known the unknowns, let's make the debate. Knees up, never ease up. Breaking the tape. Why you bringing up the rear, looking for ways of escape? Choose curses on it, stay in your lane. For the back of everything you say will proof or will proclaim DNA. This is the end of field talk. Don't come in with this skybox or you will get ejected outlined on the sidewalk. If you want to hold court, better come with full force, cause we're pulling all cards. You know what the blog's for? Track chat, rap with the facts. We make it do what it do, don't need no pass in the back. And we don't care where the truth is, we're here with the blueprints. Building on a legacy, the real keep it moving. Winners never lose, maybe learn from the bruises. You might land a jab, but you'll get flurried till you're stupid. So guard your grill and pray to God for jaws of steel. Shouldn't kick a man when he's down, but it probably will. Far from arrogant, confident in a skill. I wouldn't argue. If I was you, log it and chill. Peace.